I've started using FlatBuffers to save and load data in Unity, and I couldn't find any tutorials on this, so I decided to make one. So it's very simple. We have our load, which is very quick, and if we move something here as an example, save, move it somewhere way off in the distance, load where we saved, everything's back where it was. So I really like this as a modular solution, and according to this article that I found here, it's actually 40 times faster than parsing into a JSON for saving and loading your data. So when you're looking at flat buffers, I found a bunch of these resources. These are essentially the top results. There isn't a lot of information for how to do this for Unity. So this series is going to teach you exactly how to do that so that you don't have to go through the same 3-week process or so of debugging that I had to do. But why would you want to use flat buffers? First of all, it's really quick. According to these folks, it was 20 seconds to deserialize 15 megabytes using Newtonsoft's JSON, and FlatBuffers does it in half of a second. And it's smaller, which is great for networking. I really like how this workflow is, I like how modular it is, and I really like pretty much everything about it except for the documentation. So let me be your documentation here and we'll talk about saving and loading. So we're just going to talk about kind of the features here and what's going on and the resources that you're going to find, and the rest of the videos will be appropriately labeled here. So you use a schema file, which is essentially the structure of your save file. There's a bunch of this code generation. Unfortunately, this isn't very useful. This example, I honestly don't think that it's great. It's better than some of the other things that I've found, which I'll talk about, but it's not perfect. So they lead you into FlatBuffers for Unity. I don't recommend using this Docker. We have a better solution, at least in my opinion, and again, all of this is going to be my opinion here, that is a FlatBuffers tool for the editor. Highly recommend this one instead. So I don't recommend what this tutorial here on extraworstmedium.com recommends. And I don't generally recommend going through their tutorial. I'm trying to do something better here. The other things that you might find are this website is awful. Look at these. Whenever I find these C# hot examples, just close the window. There's nothing useful here. This will not help you. How many ads can you put in a video, huh? Geez, that was slow to close even. You'll also find FlatBuffers for Unity. This is the same person that makes this tool. This tutorial is great for how to use the tool, but it doesn't really show you how to do what it is that you need to do. And then you'll find this, which is FlatBuffers for Unity by these Exin folks here. This is really close, and everything about it is great, but be advised that these last 4 lines, really 2 lines here, don't work. This is not how you save your FlatBuffers data. I'll show you how to do that when we get to saving in that different video. Their schema file is great. The rest of this code is awesome. This is how you start your save file, but I could never get these lines, this using memory stream write all bytes, to work in this fashion. I could be doing something wrong, but it also took me 3 weeks to find this problem because I was looking up in my schema, I was looking over in, the rest of the kind of assembling these classes and these objects to save. And I never thought that I was doing this wrong because this is so simple, but unfortunately it doesn't seem to work. Their file for reading, this works great. Absolutely no problem with this. Use this as a resource. Their test file is also pretty good. Otherwise, last one here is this, and then we'll talk about the tutorial here, which is okay, but again, this doesn't teach you how to write or read the file, which is what I got stuck on, and I'm trying to make sure that you don't get stuck on. There are some alternatives to using FlatBuffers, of course. There's, say, most people end up using player prefs when they first start out. I teach a little bit of player prefs to my students. They're really basic. It's not really a useful thing to use most of the time, so there are some alternatives. First thing you'll probably find after player prefs is the binary formatter. Microsoft says not to use the binary formatter anymore. Okay, so you'll probably find, say, XML serializer next. That does not support saving dictionaries, so it wasn't very useful for my purposes. I don't really like using the XML serializer. That's just my personal opinion. So then I was led over to FlatBuffers, and FlatBuffers has a couple of alternatives that I consider to be mostly parallel to them. One is protobuf. I did not like this workflow. It's a little easier to read and a lot easier to debugging. A lot easier to debug. Ooh, having a good day today. Okay, and again, it speaks JSON. If you really like JSONs, if you like that JSON workflow, and if you really need that kind of debugging, protobuf may be for you. Captain Proto, which is also another option here. It doesn't support as many languages, but it does support Unity in a limited capacity. This might be the thing to look into for something new. I have my preference. That's why I'm making the tutorial. I like FlatBuffers. FlatBuffers is certainly better than XML serializer or binary formatter, and certainly better than player prefs and that kind of tiers. So as far as I'm concerned, these are mostly equal, but FlatBuffers focuses on speed, and when I'm saving or loading information for my game, speed is paramount. I want those loading screens to be as small as possible. So in preparation for the next video, go ahead and find this FlatBuffers tool for the editor by Wonder9L, and go ahead and add this to your assets and open it in a new project. I'm obviously not going to do that here. I've already got it loaded, and I'll see you in the next video.